Hello and welcome to Wheels Raceway, the home of motorsport in Birmingham, for a World Championship qualifying round for the Brisca Formula 1 stock cars. Just over 40 cars here to do battle on the tight and tricky tarmac oval, with support races from the V8 stock cars and the young guns in the national mini stocks, who contest their in-car race Gold Cup titles here at Wheels this evening. Weather set to be rather changeable, so car setup may well be tricky as the evening goes on the Birmingham tarmac, but another great meeting in prospect. All these star names here to do battle in the Brisca Formula 1 stock cars, looking out for those all-important World Championship qualifying points. 2 heats and a consolation for the Brisca F1s in the first part of our programme, then the support Gold Cup races for the Minis and the V8s, followed by the final and Grand National for the F1s in the second part of our programme. We launch straight into the action with heat number 1, 21 cars out on track. Adam Bamford, number 43, leading the white graders round alongside Chris Cook in number 460. And then other star names, the Reds and Superstars starting towards the back. Names to look out for in this one include the former world champion Paul Harrison in car number 2, Lee Fairhurst, a Birmingham specialist in 217, the current under-25s champion. And welcome back Matt Newson, number 16, back in action with a vengeance after his illness over the winter prevented him from racing in the first few meetings of the season. 16 laps then, the first 10 finishers go through to the meeting final. We're on board with yellow grader Kyle Gray as we get underway, chasing Terry Hawkins in the 275 car. Some white graders who will lead the way. Somebody going straight on already there on turn 2. I think that was Scott Wright in the 254 car. Somebody else being sent out wide there, Bradley Harrison in car 25, son of Paul. Notice that a number of the cars with their front bumpers painted orange here this evening in memory of long-time stock car supporter Andrew Batty, who very sadly recently lost his battle with some, and drivers racing in his memory this evening. There's 515, the national points champion Frankie Wainman Jr. in his very smart-looking new tarmac car, chasing Chris Cowley, number 37, fires him wide on turns 1 and 2. See how wide the turns are here at Birmingham. There's opportunity for plenty of bumper work. It's Chris Cook who's taken the lead in 460. A unique car, that one, the only non-Chevrolet powered car here this evening. He's got a Ford V8 under the bonnet. Chris was here practicing on Wednesday night here at Birmingham in the open test session, so getting some laps in as Matt Newson gets the bumper in on Junior Wainman. Mad Dog Matt Newson certainly back with a vengeance. Kyle Gray attacking the teenager, going up to second past Adam Bamford down the back straight. Now closing on Chris Cook for the lead. Battle for fourth between Charlie Sauder in number 5, son of a famous father, Mick Sauder, the former Brisca F1 European champion, former F2 world champion. Chris Cowley gets a revenge shot in there on Junior Wainman. Somebody slowing up on the outside. That's Simon Binder in 128, a newcomer this evening. He's out of the race. Cook leads it. He's gone a bit wide though through turn 2. On lap 7 of the 16, Kyle Gray up the inside into turn 3. He's going to take the lead from Chris Cook. He's through. Young Kyle Gray in number 124 it takes the lead, and a spin there. Paul Hines gets taken out by Adam Bamford. 259 car left facing the wrong way. The Union flag is out to signal halfway in this heat number 1 here at Birmingham Wheels Raceway. Don't forget the first 10 go through to the final. 21 cars took the start. There's 196. Blue grader Murray Jones. He always goes well here at the wheels, being chased by Junior Wainman. Then Newson. Bamford gets some bumper from Lee Fairhurst. I think so many wins here at Birmingham over the years. Bolton in Lancashire, but Bamford getting the bumper back in again, and that's going to allow Cowley up the inside. It's 3 wide coming out of turn 4. Some good action in the midfield. Chris Cook slowing up there. Looks like he could be out of it. The leader is still Kyle Gray in 124, ahead of Sean Webster, the man from Sheffield, in car number 48 in second. Charlie Sauder looks like he's up to third. Then we've got the 220 of Will Hunter. In goes the bumper from the Hunter Pack sponsored car. He goes to the inside down the back straights, and will try and take third place into turn 3. Junior Wainman 5th, Matt Newson 6th, then Jones 7th. We're on board with Finn Sargent in 526. He gets a big wallop going into turn 3. Let's see who that was from in the closing laps now of this heat. At number 1, Charlie Sauder in number 5. A very hard-hitting national mini stocks career. We'll see the national mini stocks out later on as Finn Sargent comes to a halt on the home straight there. Will there be a yellow flag as a result of that? Doesn't look like it at the moment. Junior Wainman gets ahead of Sauder, chasing after Will Hunter now. Challenge on for the lead. Webster has caught Kyle Gray. In goes the bumper into turn 1 rather. Up the inside goes the 48, and Sean Webster, the former world saloon stock car champion, takes the lead. Down into turns 3 and 4 they come, lapping Scott Wright in 2.54. Gray fighting back. Hunter's not far behind as well in the 2.20. Less than 2 laps to go now. Sean Webster has had a fair few wins here at Birmingham and at Northampton in the days of the Brayfield Stadium being tarmac as well. Is he going to hang on for the win here? Just a stationary yellow flag there covering the stranded car of Finn Sargent. And Kyle Gray fight back here on the final lap. He'll be mindful that Hunter and Wainman are behind him. Into the final turn they come. No attack from Kyle Gray. It's going to be a win for the 48 of Sean Webster. Hunter up the inside will snatch second. Webster wins it. Third goes to Gray. Fourth is Wainman. Charlie Sauder a good fifth ahead of Matt Newson. And we'll confirm the rest of the top 10 qualifiers very shortly indeed. Good drive there by Sean Webster, taking the lead with just a couple of laps to go from Kyle Gray, the youngster, in 1.24. And Junior Wainman battling with Will Hunter and Charlie Sauder behind them. Unfortunately, I can tell you that Sean Webster's car failed post-race scrutineering, and he's been removed from the results. So Will Hunter it is who takes the win ahead of Gray and Junior Wainman. Charlie Sauder fourth, and Matt Newson rounding up the top 5. Paul Hines recovering from his spin to take 10th, and he got the fastest lap of the race.
2.20, a surprise. Heat 1 winner now. We've just told you that Sean Webster's failed on the scales, and you've won.
Apparently so, you told me, but I'll take that as gospel. So yeah, I mean, I was good heat really. I was going well. Didn't manage to get on to Webster, but obviously he's failed on the scales, so I'll take it. But I didn't know until you told me.
Yeah, it's not a nice way to win a race, but points are points, and you'll have that all day long.
No, and it's always unfortunate when somebody fails on the scales, but it's just one of them. It's racing, you know.
Well, good luck for the final. See what happens there.
Thank you.
Commiserations to Sean Webster. Congratulations, Will Hunter. The other half of the entry on track now. 22 cars for heat number 2. Sam Wass in 2.84 and 24 Mark Adkins on the front of the grid. 2.90 Jay Tompkins there as well, all the way from the southwest. XF2 and Bangor Racer. Callum Oakes Kinson just behind him. Big names to look out for in this one include Dan Johnson in number 4, Nigel Green in 4.45. The remainder of the Wainman family as well are out in this one. Treble 5 Frankie Wainman Jr. is on track. Also we can see Mark Wareham, Joe Nichols, 101 Tristan Jackson, Jake Harry in 3.45. Carl Hawkins in 1.75 at the front of the Reds, alongside 555 of Frankie Wainman Jr. Tom Harris, the European champion in 84, out there as well as we get underway for another 16 laps of Birmingham Wheels Raceway, and a rocket start by Sam Wass in 2.84. He takes up the lead. It's his first race of the season. Hannah Chappell on the outside there in 3.87 in the Tim Warwick car. Good to see her on track here. Callum Oakes Kinson in 5.33 under fire from Jay Tompkins. Leading the cars around the opening laps. There's 4.01 of Mark Wacker Wareham, back in F1s this year. We're on board with Craig Utley putting the bumper in on him. Mark's been racing in stocks karts, among other things, in the intervening years. 3.02 Jim Bamford in there as well. He gets fired wide. Mickey Randall ahead of us in 1.72 now. He's something of a Birmingham specialist. Plenty of lively opening exchanges in the midfield. There's Carl Hawkins in 1.75, brother of Terry, who we briefly saw in Heat 1. There's Nigel Green in 4.45. That's Dave Dorrans in 3.66, V8 stock car regular, giving the F1s a try this season. Always an entertainer is Dave. There's Treble 5. Now, we normally call him Frankie JJ, but I've been told that his nickname among the Wainman family is Little Ted, so we might refer to him as that from now on. Thank you to Jess, aka Mrs. Danny Wainman, for bringing us the info there. Let's keep an eye on the Treble 5. He's chasing Carl Hawkins in a Wainman-built car, number 175 at the moment. Still Sam Wass leading the way. We're on board with Nigel Green in 4.45, attacking Mark Wacker Wareham. And up the inside comes Dan Johnson, the big orange machine, putting the squeeze on Nigel Green there into turn 1. That sends Green out wide. Sideways he goes. He's losing places. Dave Dorrans gets by in 3.66. Dan Johnson under fire from the European champion, number 84, Tom Harris. Just going in again. Craig Utley takes a hit from Carl Hawkins. With Craig Utley as they go down into turn 3, he'll return the compliment into turn 3. He gets a shove himself from behind. Who was that getting the bumper in? That was Little Ted in Treble 5. Young Frankie Now under fire from Dan Johnson, former national points champion, fires the 555 out wide. Opening in there as well, the Union flag is out for Sam Was in 284. He's led all the way so far in his first race of the season. Father Derek and brother Alex have both won here at Birmingham in the past as well. Look at the lead he's got here over Mark Adkins, who's still second in the 24. Impressive stuff from the white graders. Coming up to lap one of the back markers there. The yellow tops. Talking of yellow tops, there's Joe Nichols in 242 under fire from Dan Johnson. They're fighting their way up into the top 10, the red graders now. Also in there is Luke Davidson, number 464, another former European champion. He's very well indeed on the tarmac, very rare to see him racing on shale. Adkins gets taken wide down the back straight, he's hit the wall, looks like he could be out of it. Now the red tops closing in on the battle between the 501 of George Elwell. Also in there, 101 of Tristan Jackson, Mickey Randall in there as well. That's now the battle for second place. There's Tom Harris on the tail of Frankie JJ, or Little Ted as we're now referring to him. Bateman family certainly the most numerous in brisca F1, some of the best entertainers as well. There's Luke Davidson in 464, chased by Carl Hawkins. That's the fight for 5th position. Doran's just being passed there in 366, running towards the tail of the field, learning his craft in brisca F1. Raced bangers, he's raced Rebels, he's raced V8s, now having a crack at the F1s. They're not going to catch Sam Was though in 284. This is very impressive from the white grader. Try as they might. Looks like it is going to be a white grade win. We've seen our fair share of white grade wins at Birmingham in recent seasons. A very level playing field, this tarmac oval. Harris busy in that midfield battle. There's the fight for 3rd place between Jackson and Randall. It's George Elwell who 501's escaped into 2nd place. Tricky Mickey getting the bumper in on the 101. Behind them Luke Davidson, and it is a win for Sam Was. Flag to flag for the 284 car. The rest of them come home. Mark Wareham under fire from Craig Utley. Wareham gets spun out. He'll have to go in the consolation race. He won't make the top 10. 20 qualifiers from the heats will be joined by the 10 from the consolation to make a 30-car final this World Qualifying round. Flag to flag win then for the 284 car of Sam Was. The rest of them will confirm in just a second. Going to Sam Was by 0.7 of a second ahead of the closing George Elwell. Jackson shaking off Randall in the battle for 3rd position. Luke Davidson 5th ahead of Dan Johnson and Carl Hawkins, Tom Harris, Little Ted and Joe Nichols. The top 10. Fastest lap went to Dan Johnson. Nigel Green failed to finish with a puncture meanwhile.
284, Sam Was, Heat 2 winner, sorry. First meeting back this season, first win.
Yeah, I'm dead happy with that, you know what I mean. In practice it weren't the best, so we didn't have really much high hopes going into the race, but it luckily managed to pay off and got a bit of a break and a good start and just got my head down and turned the laps in and yeah, managed to take the checkered flag, so dead happy with it, yeah.
And after mechanical gremlins at the end of last season, it's nice to get good results straight away.
Yeah, it is. Last season it was a bit disheartening in that the under 25s. I had only managed, I think 3 laps and car went in the wall, and then after then I just decided we took it to Andy Maynard and he's done all the work over it over the off season and he's done a fantastic job on it, you know what I mean, credit to him in that, and without him really it'd be hard because he has quite a bit of knowledge and has helped me out through the off season, and yeah, the car's come good today, so dead happy.
Well, best of luck for the final and go and do it all again.
Yeah, thank you.
Consolation race time then here at Wheels Raceway in Birmingham. 21 cars on the grid. These are the drivers that didn't make it into the top 10 in the heats. Another 10 places on the final grid up for grabs. Names to look out for in this one include Nigel Green, retired with a puncture in his heats. Ben Riley in 422, normally a wet weather specialist, but worth watching for here. It's further back towards the rear of the grid in the red tops. There's Sean Webster, of course, disqualified for failing the weight check after winning his heat, so has to go in the consolation, starting behind Finn Sargent in 526. Also in there Bradley Harrison in number 25. They're the main players to watch from the back. But up front, a big pack of white and yellow graders. Away we go. 43. Adam Bamford leads into the first round. Hannah Chappell gets taken wide and wallop straight in goes Dave Dorrans in 3.66. Craig Utley gets run over by Sean Webster. I think somehow they've all survived that. I don't know how, coming out of turn 2. Too many cars in too small a space. That's what stock car racing's all about a lot of the time. Utley now on the tail of Nigel Green in 4.45. It's Adam Bamford, the early pace setter, in number 43. There's Hannah Chappell in 3.87 in the Tim Warwick car. 3.02 Jim Bamford side by side with Jay Tompkins in 2.90. We go on board with Finn Sargent in 5.26. Failed to finish his heat, ended up stranded on the home straights. The East Coast legend, as he's known, Mark Sargent, number 3.26. Been an up and down season for the father and son pairing. They've been having quite a few engine problems, as well as 1 or 2 victories. It's Terry Hawkins, 2.75. Putting it out in the midfield. Nigel Green starting to cut his way through the yellow graders now. He's got past Russell Cooper in 4.15. He's going for Mark Wareham in 4.01. That's an experienced racer in a variety of forms of oval racing. Ashley has been successful as well in other formulas. Maybe we'll see her in an F1 someday. And Craig Utley gets a wallop and spins coming out of turn 2. Meantime, one of our white graders runs wide there, gets clattered as he comes back into the pack. That was Carl Dugdale in 4.97. He's one of our novices. You can see from the white cross on the back of his car. And both Dugdale and Chris Cook dropping out on turn 2. There'll be no final for those two drivers, nor Craig Utley by the looks of it. He's stranded facing the wrong way. Here are the leaders. 43 Adam Bamford from Callum Oakes Kitson in 5.33, the son of Daz Kitson, former F2 world champion. In goes the bumper though from Finn Sargent. He is going for the front here. Into turn 1, he's up to second now. Attacking back is Callum Oakes Kitson. A smartly painted car for him. Bamford leads him, he's going wide on turn 4. Sargent up the inside takes the lead of the consolation at half distance. So young Finn Sargent from Lincolnshire leads the way. Here's Nigel Green. He's in 5th position behind Jim Bamford in 3.02. Adam Bamford in 2nd place in the Paint Tech sponsored car. 6th behind them, we've got one of the yellow tops. I think that's Aaron Leach in number 70 as Green goes through into 4th place. It won't take him long to catch the first 3. Finn Sargent starting to eke out a gap now. Behind Leach, we've got Sean Webster surviving that first lap melee. Then Bradley Harrison and then Terry Hawkins in 2.75. Behind him, Mark Wareham. That's your top 10 as I see it at the moment. With 5 laps left to run this time. There's Ben Riley, a subdued night for the 4.22 car. Normally goes well at Birmingham, but normally in wet conditions. As Green has now come through into 2nd. He did make short work of those 2 white graders, Callum Oakes Kitson and Adam Bamford, who's driven very well indeed so far this evening. Unlucky to miss out in his heat. He's a bit sideways there into turn 3. Could lose the spot here to Kitson. Bamford and Leach up behind them, then Webster. It's close for the runner-up place at the moment. They pass a couple of stranded cars, Dugdale and Cook on turn 2 there. We saw them go out early on. It's still Finn Sargent with the lead, coming into lap Dave Dorrans in 3.66. Nigel Green on his own in 2nd. All the action is for 3rd place. Kitson under fire from Bamford. In goes the bumper into turn 1. Aaron Leach going to dive up the inside of both of them. He's going to pass both of them into 3rd place. Kitson sideways, nearly goes out. He's lost places. Webster's come through. He's going to pass Bamford as well. Then it's Jim Bamford in 3.02. Goodness me, it's close in the minor places of the top 10. Bradley Harrison wants a bit of this as well. He fires Jim Bamford wide. He drops back. Then he went straight on into the wall. Into the last lap we go though. Finn Sargent is heading for victory in the consolation event. Nobody anywhere near him as he goes down the back straight. He's got it sewn up as he goes into the last bend. Nigel Green is going to be 2nd, but it's a win for Finn Sargent, East Coast legend junior in 5.26, takes the win. Green 2nd. Now who's going to be 3rd place? It's going to be Aaron Leach in number 70 ahead of Sean Webster. And a photo finish for 5th between Bradley Harrison and Adam Bamford there. We'll confirm who got that in just a moment. A great drive by Finn Sargent. Certainly a flying Finn in that one. Accomplished victory by a clear margin over Nigel Green in 4.45. Don't forget the first 10 go through to the final. We'll confirm our qualifiers. Sargent winner by over 2 seconds ahead of Nigel Green. Leach 3rd ahead of Webster. Adam Bamford beating Bradley Harrison and the dash for line for 5th. Jim Bamford taking 7th ahead of Callum Oakes-Kinson, Terry Hawkins and Russell Cooper complete the final qualifiers. Nigel Green getting the fastest lap of the race.
5.26, Finn Sargent, consolation winner and driving well.
Yeah, not bad, thank you. But just played with the car a bit for this year and adapted it to me, and it seems to go good enough as what we need it to.
Yeah, your old man's had a couple of lucky wins this year, but you seem to be showing him the way to do it properly.
He's getting old now, though, isn't he? But he's doing well. He's enjoying it, which is the main thing. Just on shale for now, but we'll see him on tarmac a bit later.
Yeah, now go and do it all again in the final and get some more qualifying points.
I doubt it, but I'll give it a try.
Well, best of luck.
Cheers.
Plenty of fast-paced racing so far here on the tarmac of Birmingham. The weather staying dry as well, and not too much damage for the crews to repair ahead of the finals. They're coming up after this short break, along with some of our support races as well here for the F1s. Don't go away, we're back after the break. Welcome back to Wheels Raceway here in Birmingham on this spring evening for brisca Formula 1 Stock Car World Championship qualifying round action. For the next segment of our programme, we're going to break away from the brisca Formula 1 stock cars and have a look at our other formulas racing here this evening, starting with the young guns in the National Mini Stocks. This is their in-car race Gold Cup race, named after the staging promotion here at Birmingham Wheels Raceway. No grades in this race, as you will see. The grid has been decided by ballot. It's a fully closed grid lineup, so this first turn is certainly going to be not for the faint of heart, with 28 cars out there on track. 186 of Casey J. Jones has drawn pole position, newcomer to Minis this year, but very successful racer in Ninja Karts. Just behind him are the Evans twins, Tyrone in 381, Lewis in 392. They are likely to be the two favourites here as the pace car leads them round to 15-lap race, and we are underway. Good start from the outside by Tyrone Evans in 381. He takes the lead. This car's going everywhere. 5 wide in the pack there around the first turn. Goodness me, one car's hit the fence. That was Gracie Squire in 29. Somebody else gets sent spinning onto the centre. Another car hits the bank on the inside with a chaotic start. Finn Hunter Johnson in 120 was involved there at the back, and the yellow flags are out already. Lost somebody there on the inside of the home straight. That's Sid Smith in number 99. And this race brought to a halt early on, and carnage had started down the home straight there. Harrison Careless Veal was the car in the fence on the outside. The 99 of Sid Smith hit the bank. Well, with so many cars out there on a closed grid, there was always going to be chaos. 5 wide as they went round the first turn, but it was further back where there was a further problem as wallop straight in went Gracie Squire in the number 29. There are drivers as young as 10 years old in this series, up to 15. Some of these drivers have been racing in the Ninja Kart formula for the youngest racers since they were 6, so some very experienced racers, even given their young age in the minis. A single file restart led by Tyrone Evans in 381. In the red car, he leads them away. It's Charlie Tomlin, number 290 in second, and Jones in 186, the original pole sitter, in third. Bumpers going in there. Leah Seeley on the back of Rebecca Smith in the 391 car. 4 cars going off that. Seeley getting spun aside. Didn't see who by as they went down the back straight, but it's Evans who leads from Tomlin. Looks like it's the other of the Evans twins, Lewis, up into second place. He gets the bumper in, and the Evans twins will go 1-2 at the front of the field. More action back in the pack. Harley Burns in 299. 239 is Lewis Smith, another Ninja Karts graduate this year. In the middle of that, 77 in there as well, Thomas Earl. 277 of Tom Rogers. Things starting to settle in now in the midfield. They certainly know no fear, these young racers. These are the brisca F1 stars of the future. A mistake there from Finn Hunter Johnson. He goes wide. There's number 84. No, it's not Tom Harris, it's Ryan Taylor in the number 84 car. Makes up a couple of places there. Tom Birchenough behind him, and 285. That's Brian E. Davis, being chased by Rebecca Smith in the 391. These are the drivers scrapping for the minor placing. It's Tyrone and Lewis Evans, the twins out in front. We've lost somebody into the wall at turn 3. That's Sid Smith in 99. He's off again. The home straight there's Harley Burns attacking Rebecca Smith. Behind them, Tom Birchenough under fire. It's Harley Thakra in 24 getting the bumper in. He's graduated from junior stocks karts. His dad James and brother Jordan, both very successful brisca F2 racers. I suspect we'll see Harley, once he's 16 years old, make his way into F2 as well. There he is in the number 24. Still the Evans Twins dominate proceedings up at the front. The current gold and silver top is in there as well, the number 1 of Jack Wintz. Look out for him further back in the order. We watch the midfield battle, and Rebecca Smith's going to be spun out in 3.91, courtesy of Harley Thacker. Round goes the 3.91. It's the Evans Twins with a clear lead up front. Nobody within half a length of the straight of them. 2.93 is spun there as well. It's Alexi Bartram in the 2.93 car. But most of the cars still going. We haven't lost all that many here, despite the number of incidents. The leader's coming up to lap the 3.11 of Jake Boynton here. So in there we have got Jack Wintz in the battle somewhere. They're all over each other. Finn Hunter-Johnson's been spun out down the home straight. Leah Seeley takes avoiding action. Hunter-Johnson stuck in the middle of the home straights. Another ex-Ninja kart racer. His younger brother Freddie is currently in the Ninjas as well. Coming up on the back markers now, Harrison Careless Veal. Great name that is, in 4.14, about to be lapped. Jake Boynton in the yellow 3.11 goes a lap down. 4 laps to go for the Evans Twins. Is just between Tyrone and Lewis Evans for the victory in the Inca Race Gold Cup now. Out of turn 2, past the back markers. There's the 68 of Callum Thornton under fire from Harley Thacker. Bryony Davis in behind them. Tom Birchenough, the 2.33 car in there as well of Tilly Partridge. See a number of young ladies in this field as well. Bryony Davies is one of them. Gets Tom Birchenough pushed into her by Partridge. Frantic battle in the lower reaches of the top 10 here. Only a couple of laps of the 15 to go now. Looks like it is going to be a win for Tyrone Evans in the 3.81. His brother Lewis is behind him. Is he going to pinch the win on the last bend from his twin brother? Seen them battle it out for titles in the past. They're lapping Lewis Smith in 2.39. Backmarkers trying to get out of the way, let the leaders through as they come up to start the final lap of the Inca Race Gold Cup for the National Mini Stocks. Lewis Evans positioning himself to attack as they lap Tom Dunn in 1.71 down the back straight. Into the final turn they come, and there's mayhem behind. There's cars going off everywhere, into the bank, onto the infield, into the fence, but it's a win for Tyrone Evans in 3.81. Lewis Evans second, and we will confirm who was third shortly. I think it might have been Jack Wintz in the number 1. The current gold top champion across the line. I'll confirm the rest of the results shortly, because I haven't got a clue who finished where in the rest of the top 10 with all that mayhem on the final lap. We do know that the Evans twins have come in first and second. Tyrone Evans the winner ahead of his brother Lewis. Jack Wintz was indeed third ahead of Ryan Taylor. Charlie Tomlin fifth ahead of Harley Burns. Harley Thacker in seventh. Callum Thornton, Leah Seeley and Bryony Davis, the 2 young ladies rounding out the top 10. Now we move on to the Brisca V8 stock cars. These are the Rover V8 engine machines as opposed to the Chevrolets in the Formula Ones. The Inca Race Gold Cup race for the V8s. Again, the grid has been drawn by ballot. It's number 10, Gillan Bullock, blue grader normally, who has pulled pole position with 1.25 of Nathan Lee alongside him. Good grid of 24 V8 stock cars out there. Let's see who's going to be the favourites for this one. Look out for Catherine Harris there, number 8, the sister of Tom Harris, one of a number of ladies on this grid. Throttles already go down as they come round turns 3 and 4. This is going to be a frantic start. Guy Jolly already getting sent out to the fence in treble 2. Nathan Lee's been taken out across the nose of Catherine Harris. There's more cars going off. Oh, there's complete chaos as they come down the home straight. 4 or 5 cars involved, and that's going to be a stoppage straight away. The 420 is Jamie Huckfield, 350 is Hannah Andrew. I think that's Sophie Maynard in 154 in there. The 420 car gets away. I think that's Jacob Downey in the car where you can't see the number, the red top. Let's see what happened there. Well, Nathan Lee first of all went off to one side and took out Catherine Harris, but the real problem was on the outside as Sophie Maynard got spun into the barrier and everybody else just piled up behind. There were more cars that went off on the run into turn 1. James Billows there in 402, 173 of Ashley Percy, the ex-Brisca F2 man went off. But on the outside of the home straight at the same time, Sophie Maynard was taken out in 154. There was nowhere for the pack to go. There's Maynard in 154, walloping into the barrier. That took out the 420 car of Huckfield. That was a big impact. Jacob Downey piled into him. 350 Hannah Andrew as well. It was Matt Barnard in 69 who was leading into the first turn, and he will lead them away on the restart. Local man from Staffordshire. Looks like it's Gillen Bullock in second and 187 Craig Smith in third. So quite a few casualties at the start of this one. We've lost about 8 cars from the field, unfortunately. It is Barnard from Bullock, then Smith, and Richard Arrowsmith in 179 is next in the order. We're back underway. Green flag waves, into the sunshine they go. 552 there, Declan Gwynn attacks Catherine Harris in the number 8. Away goes Matt Barnard. Bullock in 4th place, 146 next in the order is Grant Leather in the grey car. Watch for Steve Thompson in 485 as well. The attack down the inside, the ex-Rebels gold top. Got a fair few prizes for the V8s as well, a few titles over the years. The gold top not out in this race, but number 1 Adam Joyce not here tonight. The other ex-Rebel star. Barnard leads the way, then they're 3 and 4 abreast in the pack down the home straight. There's Hannah Andrews, she's been able to get going again after those problems at the start, the former stocks kart racer. There's former multiple gold top Kev Stutchbury in the 131 car, making his way towards the front of the field. Catherine Harris behind him. Then we've got 498, that's Ollie Spencer. 485 of Steve Thompson, nice little scrap developing here. Thompson in the MJS Recovery sponsored car. It's the bumper in, fires Spencer and Stutchbury out wide. Harris in there as well. They're going to be 3 wide into turn 1. Thompson up the inside. He's gained 3 places in a lap. Good driving here by Steve Thompson in the 485. And Stutchbury now back up the inside. This is frantic in the midfield. But of course, the harder they battle, the further behind the leaders they're going to fall. We've lost Hannah Andrews. She's pulled up on turn 4. Still your leader is Matt Barnard in car 69. In goes the bumper from Thompson in no uncertain terms on the back of Grant Leather. That's allowed Ollie Spencer to come through as well. I thought Leather was heading for the fence there. You could say Grant nearly got Leather. Treble 2 behind him is Guy Jolly, very experienced racer. We saw him take a trip into the wall at the start. Barnard continues to lead the way. Here is the 69 car into the home straight at half distance. Second place is still Gillen Bullock in the number 10, just lapping one of the yellow tops there. Craig Smith third, then it's Arrowsmith with a rather multicoloured aerofoil on his car. He's just been passed by Kev Stutchbury. Harris in behind them as well in number 8, recovering from that slip up earlier on. Still out front it is Matt Barnard by a clear margin. Arrowsmith now under fire from Thompson in the 485. We've seen his brother Craig Thompson in 490 in action in this formula in the past. Kev Stutchbury attacks Craig Smith for 3rd place in the 187. Arrowsmith has lost another spot there. That's Thompson coming through. Still Matt Barnard who leads into the closing stage. He's led all the way after that mayhem-filled first lap. Now Stutchbury through into 3rd. To close on ex-national mini-stocks man Gillen Bullock in the number 10. Smith under fire from Catherine Harris in the number 8. Still yet to win her first final in the 8s. A great start to her career since moving up from the minis as Matt Barnard comes up to lap Amy Jagger in the 525 car. Down the back straight, he's got 3 laps to go this time. Single stranding car of Hannah Andrew, long since out of the race. It's great to see so many lady drivers in the V8s. Hopefully they'll make the move up to the F1s to challenge the likes of Phoebe Wainman and Jacqueline Ellis Sunday. In goes the bumper on Richard Arrowsmith for a bit of smoke there from Ollie Spencer. Let's hope he's not in trouble in 498. Kev Stutchbury attacking Gillen Bullock, trying to go through as they come off turn 4 for 2nd place. Has he got it as they head down towards turn 1? He certainly has. Stutchbury, the ex-gold top, into 2nd. Now Harris will challenge Bullock for 3rd position, but it's going to be a win for Matt Barnard in the Incaré Skull Cup. Ex-national mini-stocks racer on one of his local circuits, man from Burnswood in South Staffordshire, only just over half an hour's drive from Wheels Raceway. He's down the back straights for the final time. Around the final turn, the Incaré Skull Cup winner for the V8 stock cars is Matt Barnard, a flag-to-flag victory. Well clear of Kev Stutchbury, who will take 2nd. It looks as though Catherine Harris has got through into 3rd place. We'll confirm the rest of the placings very shortly. No doubt about your winner. A dominant drive there from young Matt Barnard. He was racing in New Zealand over the winter as well. Really is a driver to watch. Maybe we'll see him make the move up into the F1s one day. He's had a one-off appearance in an F1 on gala night at the end of the season here at Birmingham. His father Andy, the ex-National Mini Stocks Club chairman, really is a driver to watch in British stock car racing. We'll celebrate with donuts on the home straights. Burntwood Auto Centre sponsored number 69 car. Well done indeed to young Matt Barnard taking the win in the Inca Race Golf Cup by nearly 3 seconds ahead of Kev Stutchbury. Catherine Harris defeating Gillan Bullock for third. Steve Thompson coming through well for fifth ahead of Craig Smith. And then Ollie Spencer, Grant Leather, Richard Arrowsmith and Guy Jolly completing the top 10. 13 cars went the distance. Kev Stutchbury in second on the fastest lap of the race. Back to the main events, the Brisca Formula 1 stock cars meeting final time over 20 laps. 28 of the 30 qualifiers are on track. All the big names out there. The Wainmans are out there. Lee Fairhurst, Nigel Green having made it through the consolation, Dan Johnson, Luke Davidson and all the rest of the star names further back on the grid. Biggest grid of the night so far for the Brisca F1's. There's Paul Hines in 2.59, just scraped into the final from his heat despite a spin. Fairhurst alongside Dan Johnson, Tom Harris, Matt Newson. There's Junior Wayman with the silver roof. Nigel Green at the back in 4.45. Weather has stayed dry for the F1 so far, then the tension begins to mount. 20 laps about to get underway. The white graders leading them off at the front. Looks like it'll be Adam Bamford to take the early lead from pole position. They're away. It is Bamford ahead of Callum Oakes-Kitson. Into the first turn. Sam Wass, our earlier winner, tucks in behind them. They're all away well into the first turn. Luke Davidson fires the bumper in on Will Hunter, our earlier winner in 2.20. Somebody going for a water splash on the inside. A couple of yellow graders wallop straight in goes Kyle Gray in the 1.24. George Elwell in 5.01 gets spun out as more cars have gone off. Further round on turn 3, Tom Harris is in the wall in 84, I noticed there. There's been a bit of a tangle among the superstars. A couple of cars off at the back. Charlie Sorder got caught up with Kyle Gray. The caution flag comes out. So we have an early stoppage. Looks like Lee Fairhurst has got some damage in the 2.17, quite possibly further back as well. So we'll see what happened. The yellow grader going off to the inside there, first of all. Then it was Sorder and Gray into the wall on turn 3. George Elwell got spun out in a tangle with, I think that was Murray Jones in the 1.96. But this is what happened to Tom Harris further back. They tried to go 4 wide down the back straight, and Harris just across the front of Dan Johnson in the number 4. That sent a couple more cars on the outside. Carl Hawkins and Lee Fairhurst into the wall as well. Tom Harris has got a flat tyre. That'll be the end of his race. So plenty of chaos in the pack earlier on. It was Tristan Jackson who went off to the inside through the puddles there. But then further back, they tried to go 4 wide. 4 into 1 didn't go, and wallop straight in they went. Carl Hawkins with a sudden stop there on the outside. We see it from Junior Wainman's point of view. Harris just tried to turn across the front there to get the line away from Dan Johnson. There wasn't room, and that was what took everybody out there at turn 3. There was just nowhere for them to go behind. Well, your leader is Adam Bamford in the 43, ahead of the 5.33 of Callum Oakes-Kitson. Jim Bamford third in 3.02, then Sam Wass in 2.84. Tom Harris out of the race, as is Charlie Sorder on the centre. He picked up some damage in that early tangle with Kyle Gray. He's out of the race as well. So we've lost 3 cars, 25 remain. Very steady for the restart here. It's the 43 of Bamford who leads ahead of Kitson and Joe Bamford in Jim Bamford rather in the 3.02. Up wide there, Murray Jones, we get back underway over the remaining distance. There's Finn Sargent in 5.26 trying to carve his way through the yellow graders. Julian Wayman makes him a place past Jones. Aaron Leach on the back of Sargent as they come out of turn 4. There's a black cross being displayed there. That's a warning, possibly for a jumped restart, and I think that was to 5.26 Finn Sargent. We'll confirm that at the end of the race. The black cross is a warning from the steward of the meeting, meaning that you're being watched and you may be docked places at the end of the race. On board with Junior Wayman as they head down into turn 1 alongside Sean Webster in the 48. 2.59 Paul Hines ahead of them there, sponsored by Stocks Karts, another of the short oval formulas we mentioned earlier on. Mickey Randall at the inside there in 1.72, bounces off the 2.59 car, and Luke Davidson getting involved there as well. They all survived that somehow. Paul Harrison gets walloped straight in car number 2. I think he got caught up there with Murray Jones, who comes to a stop in the 1.96, but it could be a change for the lead here. Finn Sargent goes through into turn 1, past Adam Bamford, and into the lead goes the 5.26 car, but of course he did receive that black cross He does jokingly have written on his aerofoil, you may have seen during his interview earlier on, Jumpstart Champion 2018. Let's hope his Jumpstart jinx hasn't struck here again in this final. Junior Wayman chasing Matt Newson. Great to have Matt back racing. Oh, they've got tangled up there coming out of turn 2. Oh dear, our camera car, Junior Wayman and Matt Newson come to a halt on the inside of the second bend. There's 445, Nigel Green. He's already had a couple of final wins this year. He took the final on Easter Monday at Bellevue. Battling there with Bamford, so he's into the top 3 now. Still 5.26 of Finn Sargent that has got the lead. It's Chris Cowley in 37 going well up into second place. Aaron Leach is 4th. Then Paul Hines. Bamford down to 6th. 3.02 of Jim Bamford. I don't think the two Bamfords are any relation, the 43 and the 3.02. It's past halfway then, 5.26. Finn Sargent, Lincolnshire youngster, leads the way. That's pulling off there Terry Hawkins. That was in 2.75 out of the race. Place is still Chris Cowley in 37. His father Rob retired at the end of last season, one of the longest serving drivers in brisca F1 history, Rob Cowley. 5 Nigel Green attacking the M&M's liveried car of 37. Chris Cowley for second. M&M's livery famous in NASCAR, courtesy of Kyle Busch, one of NASCAR's most successful drivers of recent years in America. There's Dan Johnson, a little subdued tonight, the number 4. We see him at the sharp end on tarmac. Carl Hawkins in 1.75, under fire from Mickey Randall in 1.72. As the leader comes up to lap Tristan Jackson after his water splash moment earlier on the inside of the back straight. 4.45 Nigel Green in second place. He'll complete 15 laps. Can he catch Finn Sargent for the lead? Cowley third. Hines now fourth. Good run by Chris Cowley. Always enjoys his visits to Birmingham. His local circuits, the Warwickshire-based driver, as Will Hunter pulls off in 2.20. There'll be no double for him. Still your leader is Finn Sargent in 5.26, coming up to lap Murray Jones, who had that tangle with Paul Harrison earlier on. Jackson goes wide, Nigel Green goes through. He's closing the gap now on our race leader, Finn Sargent. Jones moves aside, lets the quicker runners through. 4 laps to run. Jackson pulls off in 1.01. It's just between these two now, I think. Between Finn Sargent and Nigel Green back in 2007, where Nigel Green began his senior oval racing career in the Formula 2s. He won on his first ever start. The drivers in the commentary box at Birmingham on that occasion. Now look how far he's come, a brisca F1 world champion. Chasing down Finn Sargent, 2 laps to go for Nigel Green to try and catch the blue grader. They've got back markers ahead of them. George Elwell after he spun earlier on, Mickey Randall as well. I think that is. Blue Graders battling it out. They haven't seen the leaders behind them. Hopefully they won't impede their progress. They're coming round to start the final lap. Well, if they do impede the leaders' progress, they'll simply get bumped out of the way. Sargent, so he's got nearly caught up there with one of the back markers. This is Green's opportunity. They're on the last lap now. It's going to be a last spin lunge, I think, from Nigel Green. Here we go. He's weighing him up as they go down the back straight into turn 3. There goes the bumper in from Nigel Green. Up the inside. He's going to steal the win on the last spin. Nigel Green comes in for what I think is his 4th final win of the season. Second goes to Finn Sargent, and Chris Cowley was there behind them as well. He completes the podium. We'll confirm the rest of the results shortly. Newson, a late casualty there in the number 16, I notice on the centre. But no doubt about your winner, Nigel Green in 4.45, snatching it from Finn Sargent on the final bend. Chris Cowley completing the top 3. But so we saw the black cross go out for Finn Sargent, and he has been docked 2 places for jumping the restart. So he goes down to 4th, Cowley into 2nd, Paul Hines up into 3rd, Aaron Leach completing the top 5 ahead of Dan Johnson, Adam Bamford, Luke Davidson, Jim Bamford and Joe Nichols. Nigel Green the winner, who got the fastest lap.
4.45 Nigel Green, a man that looked like you're back to your winning ways and enjoying yourself again.
Yeah, definitely enjoying myself. Yeah, still car isn't perfect, but I managed to get a win there, so that was good. Felt better at the first half of the race, and then there's a lot of oil or water going down, and no matter which line you took on the track, you always had to cross this greasy bit, so it took a while to figure out where was the best line to take. But no, traffic-wise it went to plan, but as I started chasing Finn down at the end and Chris, our pace was very similar, so I just nibbled away at him, and could have had a go earlier, but I know he had enough pace. If I would have got past him with 3 laps to go, I think he'd have clung on to me and did what I did to him at the last corner. So I just sort of looked in the mirror and bided my time, really.
Yeah, that's what it looked like from the outside, that he was just sat waiting, but you're certainly bang on form again with the car. Are we fired up again for the season?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm fired up. Just I like to try and keep calm. And last meeting at Kings Lynn, I had the final and the Grand National parked in the middle, which is not really like me. And the heat again, I made a mistake. I should have given Dan Johnson more room in the heat. I knew he was there, but I just pushed my luck and tried to sort of cling on around the outside, and resulted in a puncture. So I had that in the back of my mind that I really wanted to finish that race. Unfortunately, it panned out at the start, and I got through. But there was one stage Tom crashed across the front of me going into the corner, and coming out there was just smoke. It was a bit like Days of Thunder. I didn't know which line to take. I just sort of drove through it really and just hoped no one was in my way, and it worked out right.
Well, that's good, and another hat full of qualifying points as well. You'll be up there for this year.
Yeah, well, I didn't race, did I, the back end of last year, so I'm started this year with nil, I think. So I've done a few qualifiers and sort of clawing my way back to where I want to be. As long as I'm in the first sort of 5 rows, I'll be happy enough with that, and just sort of take it from there.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll let you get ready for the Grand National.
Thank you.
Nigel Green starts from the lap handicap then as we get ready for the Grand National. 23 cars, I make it out on track. This one, Sam Was in pole position for the White Tops. Chris Cowley heads the Reds alongside 175 Carl Hawkins. Wainmans are out there, Frankie JJ and Junior Wainman. There's Dan Johnson in number 4. Tom Harris is back out in the 84 car. Lee Fairhurst there as well in 217, and Matt Newson in number 16. He failed to finish the final. Will Hunter's in there in 220. 422 of Ben Riley, a quiet night for him, starts just behind little Ted Wainman in treble 5. Names can one driver have. Getting ready then for the Grand National. Last race of the night over 16 laps gets underway, and Sam Was is not away. He's pulled off onto the centre. So Adam Bamford will attack for the lead on the back of Callum Oakes. Kitson into the first turn. He'll take the lead on the inside. Moving to turn 1. Blue Raiders going wide. George Elwell in 501 is one of them. Blue Raiders locking up the tyres as they go into turn 3. The track still staying largely dry. It's been an evening of mixed weather here at the wheels. 9.6 of Murray Jones slowing up. He goes into the side of Chris Cowley, forces him onto the centre. Somebody else slowing up on the inside there as well, Simon Binder, I think, in the 128 car. We're on board with Craig Utley, gets the bumper in on Finn Sargent. He'll be frustrated to lose his podium place in the final. 7 Lee Fairhurst under fire from Matt Newson. His night hasn't produced the best of results tonight on his first trip to Birmingham since last year. Tristan Jackson getting the bumper in on the 5.33 of Callum Oates. Kitson to go into second place. Tristan Jackson could be one to watch here. He's made the break along with the 2 White Tops, and he's something of a Birmingham specialist, as Dan Johnson gets a big hit there from Craig Utley in the 484. I think he might have been the cue ball there though, because Junior Wainman was in there in the 515. Now he's not had a great start to his season, the national points champion. In fact, he's yet to win a race this year, I believe. Battling with Johnson in the number 4. The reign of the Wainmans at the top of the sport cannot be over just yet. Younger members of the family coming through, as we've already seen. On board with Finn Sargent in 526, chasing 217 of Lee Fairhurst. This is the battle up front. 43, Adam Bamford with the lead, but he's run wide there coming out of turn 2. This is Jackson's opportunity, and he goes through down the back straight. Tristan Jackson in 101, the ex-Superstocks racer, goes into the lead, but Bamford fighting back. He's had a good night, Adam Bamford, in putting the bumper in on all and sundry. But it's Jackson who's gone to the front in number 101. Number 5, Charlie Sauder, has spun out there. He goes off onto the rumble strips on the inside. Newson chasing Dan Johnson. Here comes Aaron Leach in the number 70, going for second place. Dan Johnson and Matt Newson are up behind them now. Could they be favourites for honours in the closing stages? Will Hunter in there too, and Junior Wainman. This is the battle for the minor placings at the moment. They've got to close on those lower graders who made the break early on. Jackson, Leach, Bamford and the rest of them. Mr. Jackson leads in 101. I think Simon Binder in the Matt Newson hire car, our newcomer in 128. It's pushed wide now by Leach in second place. Home straight is Luke Davidson in third in 4.64. He's the first of the red tops. Then it's Junior Wayman, and Adam Bamford gets spun out in the 43. Look out, Craig Utley. Just misses in there, goes to the outside. Lightning reactions from the man in 4.84. 5 laps to go for race leader Tristan Jackson, but Bamford stuck there in the middle of turn 1. If he can't get going, the caution flags could come out here. Race continuing for the moment with Jackson up front. He will not want to see a yellow flag at this stage, especially as Luke Davidson has just taken second place from Aaron Leach, but the caution flags do come out. Well, Adam Bamford can't get his car going. He's stuck in the middle of the turn, so in the interests of safety, the race is stopped. That's the last thing Tristan Jackson wanted to see, because he was away and clear at the front. Bamford spinning out there. Now, when these V8 engines get hot, they are notoriously difficult to restart. Bamford just got some bumper there going through the turn. I think it was from Matt Newson, and round went the 43. He couldn't restart, so the caution coming out in the interests of safety. Craig Utley just missed him there, as we saw from the onboard camera. Ready for the restart then. Where's Matt Newson going? He's got a puncture, he's into retirement, so it's Jackson with Luke Davidson now right on his tail, or on his bumper we should say. Third in the order is Aaron Leach in the number 70. This is going to be a sprint for the line over 3 laps. Bamford out of the race on the centre. He had to retire as the cause of the stoppage. Mr. Jackson needs to anticipate this restart as best he can. Going to try and outfox the rest of the field. Here they come into turn 3. Where's he going to put his foot down? Keeping it steady at the moment ahead of Davidson. Leach, Junior Wayman in 4th place. They come round turns 3 and 4. Now the power comes on. Away goes Jackson. He's made a good restart. So has Davidson. Down towards turn 1. Leach, Wayman and Johnson rounding out the top 5 ahead of Will Hunter. Leach has been sent wide by Junior Wayman, trying for 3rd place. They go down the back straight. It's the 101 of Tristan Jackson, who has held his lead around turns 1 and 2. Will Hunter gets some bumper from Lee Fairhurst in 2.17. His frantic sprint for the line in this Grand National event. Aaron Leach fighting back on the tail of Wayman. Johnson's in there in the orange number 4 as well. But it's Tristan Jackson who's held his lead. Wayman under fire from Johnson. There's always been a rivalry between those two. 2 laps to go now. Luke Davidson attacking for the lead. Everybody else is squabbling for 3rd place. Has let these 2 get away. Davidson goes for the inside, coming off turn 2. A couple of white graders spinning off behind them. But Davidson to the inside around turns 3 and 4. Takes the lead coming in to start the final lap. Wayman's up to 3rd ahead of Johnson. Meanwhile, Fairhurst into 5th. But it's Luke Davidson, the man from the northwest, who has got the lead ahead of Tristan Jackson. He held on very well indeed on that restart, but it's going to be a win for 4.64 Luke Davidson. Last bit of sorting out going on in the pack around the final turn as Davidson wins it. Jackson 2nd, Wayman 3rd, Johnson 4th, and Lee Fairhurst 5th. A rather breathless sprint for the line in the Grand National. Luke Davidson takes his first win in the UK this season. He's been racing in Holland for the first part of the 2019 season because Luke does not race on shale. So he's opted to race on the tarmac tracks of Holland, but back in the UK and a winner. That'll set him up nicely for Skegness coming up soon. Davidson the winner by 0.3 of a second ahead of Tristan Jackson. Junior Wayman 3rd ahead of Dan Johnson and Lee Fairhurst. And Will Hunter relegating Aaron Leach to 7th of the line. Finn Sargent taking 8th. Nigel Green 9th from the lap handicap. George Elwell rounding out the top 10. 19 cars went the distance in that one, and it was Nigel Green from the back who got fastest lap.
4.64, Luke Davidson, Grand National winner, and going well.
Yeah, we've had a good night really, apart from the final when the oil come out. It kind of sent us back a bit, but we altered it for the National and seemed to be tons better, yeah, a lot faster, so really happy with it.
And you've started your season racing mainly in Venray, but now the UK tarmac scene's getting going again, you'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, there's been 4 or 5 shale meetings that we don't race shale, we just stick to tarmac, and we've had to go over there and race, had some good results, and hopefully we want to bring it home now and get them going over here.
And of course we're at Skeggy next weekend, an all tarmac weekend. You're looking forward to that?
Yeah, UK Open, I should have won it last year, threw it away, but it's racing. It was a do or die moment and it didn't work out, but we'll go again next week and try and win that title.
Well, best of luck and we'll see you there.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a look at the points chart at the end of that Birmingham meeting. Well, Nigel Green still clear at the top in the grading points ahead of Junior Wayman, with Dan Johnson 3rd. A poor night for Tom Harris, he drops back a bit into 4th. Paul Hines rounding out the top 5 ahead of Danny Wayman who was absent tonight. So good to see Bradley Harrison and Carl Hawkins in there in the top dozen as well. Well, that just about wraps things up then for Birmingham Wheels Raceway this evening. A enjoyable evening of action on the tarmac under the floodlights. There's more tarmac action coming up in our next programme as well. A big weekend, the UK Open weekend at Skegness is the next action in front of our cameras. Join us then, but for now, thanks very much for watching and goodbye.